Okay, so let's get back to business here. Let's get back to basics. Let's slow it back down, slow the clock, return it, get back to where we were trying to be. We're trying to get into some perspective into the National Basketball Association, the regular season. That's where we are. That's where we're going. A month away from the playoffs. Not really a whole lot going on other than seeding. That's where we want to go. That's what we want to know. That is what matters here. And of course, a lot of people want to be talking about the MVP and who's going to be it, who's climbing up the ladder. All this kind of ridiculous nonsense that can't be determined until we get the finalists. And then eventually the actual award given out to the individual. But we can make certain observations, like James Harden's 5 points the other night against the Chicago Bulls. 46 minutes this guy's putting in. This guy's playing for 46 minutes and he gets 5 points. It's like in Space Jam when Charles Barkley gets all of his basketball power siphoned out of him by the little alien guys. That's what we're dealing with here. It's almost it's a kind of a sad story, really. I want to talk about Harden and, his kind of the rise and the fall thereof of him over the last 5, 6, 7 years. But I want to have a little bit of a better background set up. We're going to figure that out. Maybe get some bookshelves together. I want to get a better camera, obviously. We got to get the quality a lot better here. That is kind of one of my goals, get production value a little bit higher up. But in the meantime, we can talk about James Harden's current events. How about that? Let's do that. So let's talk about this. Harden is having this insane decline. He goes from winning MVP to losing it to Giannis while averaging 36 points per game. All-star starter, who cares? All-star reserve, not looking so great. Not the best player in the world anymore. Goes to the Nets, the Sixers. Who knows what's next? And then he doesn't even get an invite. There are a lot of spots available because of injuries that open up in the Eastern Conference, but he still doesn't even get in. It's quite amazing how he's having this kind of Westbrook syndrome. He's slowly disappearing while thinking that he's good, worth more of the money, awful contracts, kind of bouncing around teams looking for a home, trying to be valued, while being in this mindset that there is no production, that there is no dissension into being just an average player now. And this is a prime example. I don't want to hearken too bad on it. I think that this performance the other night against Chicago was ridiculous. But I also want to give Embiid a little bit of credit. We're going to talk a little bit about him. Also, just the MVP ladder. It's so ridiculous. I'm constantly seeing this kind of comparison of players that everyone's kind of thinking that there's some sort of power ranking system involved in the MVP. Well, first of all, it's just the NBA's YouTube channel posting something that looks like it's supposed to be a ladder, like they know, and whoever votes for the MVP, they just look at the NBA's YouTube channel and they post this power rankings, completely ambiguous power rankings system. So it's supposed to get us excited because we think that our favorite player is going to move up and down, and there's anyway, yeah. So it's kind of, that is ridiculous. Also, I don't care about any of that. I want to credit Embiid. He's doing a great job right now, averaging 36 points, maybe a few blocks and a few assists here and there. But the other night against Chicago wasn't a great example of this. Again, we're in double overtime. That means not double the points, but you should have a pretty nice stat line, okay? You shouldn't just have one assist. You shouldn't be fouling out. You should be leading teams to a win, especially if the Sixers are being considered as one of the better teams, if not the top 5 or the top 3. You want to praise him for averaging 36 points per game and 65% from the field, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't think he's going to win it. And Harden averaged 36 a game for an entire season, and he didn't win it. So, yeah. Also, by the way, DeRozan probably leads the league in foot-on-the-line deep twos. It's pretty insane how often that guy thinks that he's shooting a 3. I get it. It's pretty far away because it doesn't look like a 2-pointer. But that doesn't make it a 3. Yeah, I guess he's never really watched where he steps, ever. But in other news, in the National Hockey League, we have the Pacific Division outburst. If you're not 8-2, you must Feel like you're just not a good team. Mainly because the Pacific Division is just pretty bad. It's almost like when a basketball game starts and everyone's shooting threes, and then you miss one. Your team shoots threes right out the gate, 4 for 4, 5 for 5, and then you miss. That's literally what's happening in the Pacific Division right now. Every team is 8-2, with the exception of the Canucks. Everyone else is using this momentum to launch them into the playoffs, get them a little bit of a nicer spot, nicer position here. Every team's blowing up. They're getting ready. The Canucks are kind of diverging from the plan, and they have ever since they've considered major surgery was needed to save a already failing season. Not to mention how in the first few months, the season was not even looking that great. Yes, they had times when they were close to making the playoffs, but it's extremely hard to do so in hockey. Plus, you have to be very consistent for a large period of time, which the Canucks can never be. So yeah, Vegas, Edmonton, Los Angeles, they've all won 8 of their last 10. The Oilers almost choked to the Sharks. Crazy, that game the other day. So many disallowed goals. It was hard to believe. There were 4 in total and 3 by the Sharks. 2 for goalie interference, 2 for offsides. I mean, you got to find a way to work around this. Usually when I'm watching hockey and I see a goal that goes in and I want to celebrate, usually I kind of think that there could be an infraction. The same with football. If there's a huge pass that I really think like it's going to matter, that I care about, that I'm thinking, okay, I really hope that this conversion stands, you got to throw the flag. You cannot be throwing these things late. We have to know so that we can adjust properly to what we're seeing instead of just having to find out later. All these anticlimactic goals that are happening in the NHL. Yeah, I've never seen that happen before. I've seen 2 goals happen, 2 goals to get disallowed, but not 4 or not 3 by one team. Besides, it was already high scoring. 5-4 overtime win for the Oilers. I guess the refs didn't see those offsides. 2 offsides, 2 goalie interferences. Goalie interference, I get it. You got to kind of have to review it. It's a little bit tricky. You can't really just be looking. You can't be staring, adjudicating the players where they're standing in the crease and contact with respect to the goalie. You got to be paying attention to where the puck is and the players around it. Any extracurriculars, catch that in your peripherals. But yeah, offsides is trickiest. There's some deliberation amongst control of the puck. Personally, I think if you have control of the puck, it's on your stick, and maybe you push it a little bit farther ahead of you by a foot or 2, you still have possession over it, especially if you cross the blue line. You have the puck. You can push it forward. It's like in the shootout. If you push the puck forward a little bit, you go up to it and you grab it. You had possession, okay? Because if you don't have possession, the neutral zone doesn't have it, a.k.a. a Fugazi. There's nobody else on the ice that's taking the puck from you. Of course, it has to do with proximity to other players, especially defenders that are trying to take the puck away from you, and there could be a case there. But I really think that you guys just got to have a conference this summer. Talk about it. Talk about offsides. Talk about possession. What does it mean for a player to have possession of the puck? And that's pretty much it.